Okay, guys, welcome back to episode 35 of the BJJ101 STOREROOM podcast. Today we have another amazing guest in Michael Gothard. Now, Michael, we know you here from Gothard. You trained here for a massive period of time. You're also now a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Eduardo's back here again. I'm back here again. But we always start with just like a simple question, and I'd just like to get you to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and then also, like, you know, talk a little bit about your upbringing, your trajectory in life, and where you kind of first collided or were introduced to martial arts.
First, thanks for having me, guys. It's like saying to Eduardo, it's like putting an old t-shirt on coming down here. It's awesome to be here. I'm probably tell by my accent, I'm not from Australia. Originally from Yorkshire in England. I moved over here when I was 29. Got into jiu-jitsu probably 2004 for a couple of years. Started off boxing at my friend's MMA gym. The gym I was at, real well known on the UK scene. They had a grappler there called Lee Remedios.
Yeah.
He was the first UK guy in the UFC for Genki Sudo. I don't know if you remember him. I started off boxing. They were MMA fighters, so I did a couple of jiu-jitsu classes. I remember getting triangled, didn't know what it was to start with. I'm like, man, that guy's just choked me with his legs, what's he doing? So training them guys for a bit. Then didn't really take it too serious, trained for about a year, maybe a bit longer. Then came over here when I was 29. At the time I was quite unfit in my early 30s, and I started getting fit again, wanting to lose weight, get in shape. And I thought, well, I need to do something that I enjoy, something I'm interested in. I remember I loved jiu-jitsu when I did it. Boxing I also loved, but I didn't want to get punched in the face anymore. I looked up a few jiu-jitsu gyms. I lived in Brisbane. So Eduardo, third degree black belt, traditional BJJ gym. I thought, that's the one for me. That's the place.
How old were you? How old were you? How old were you when you first started? Like anything like athletic sports, that type of thing? Because we always talk with a bunch of people, and I always ask this question, and it seems to be like this pattern all the time. Like everybody that's gotten a black belt. Not everybody, but for the most part, a large majority of them have got like some like ingrained discipline from doing other sports like early on. So did you do anything like when you were way younger, or your first introduction was boxing? Yeah,
first was boxing in my 20s, but before that I played rugby league. Part of England where I'm from, it's real strong rugby league area. Probably bigger than soccer. So I played rugby league when I was probably 10 to about 12. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the contact, the tackling. But as for putting a ball over a line and scoring points, it didn't really. It's like,
didn't interest you that much.
Didn't interest me. It's like we can win a game, and it's like, well, I haven't really done much. Like, it's not. I can have a real good game and we can still lose. But I did enjoy the tackling, all that kind of stuff. And at school, you know, it's like where you with your mates, you end up wrestling on the playing fields, and I really enjoyed that. And I think that's probably what brought me to jiu-jitsu.
Like they're having fun in the camaraderie kind of stuff of bashing each other at school or whatever, wrestling with each other. Man, that's interesting. I think I think that's an interesting thing, because I think like most guys have got some kind of like experience like that, you know, mucking around with people, wrestling, put in the headlock, I'm stronger than you, whatever. It's just like a natural kind of thing that people kind of fall into as dudes. Like we talked even with Munsuk and stuff, and he's like, man, it's just like normal. You guys start drinking a little bit and everybody starts wrestling, man. It's just how it goes. So,
you look at animals in the wild, like little baby tiger cubs and lion cubs, they're always
wrestling and playing and fighting and stuff.
I actually heard a lot of people, like especially beginners, like, I got injured. I said, what happened? I was mucking around with a friend. There was like alcohol involved, somewhere.
What happened to your face? What happened to your face? Oh, it's a bit of carpet burn. How'd you get that? Oh, I was wrestling in the lounge room. And
the funny thing is now, like when you're with your friends, and well, majority of my friends are all jiu-jitsu friends anyway, but if you're with non-jiu-jitsu friends, I just don't mention that I do jiu-jitsu because people, let's have a wrestle. No.
They want to challenge it.
Oh, you are very dangerous. Like,
so what do you mean?
Peaceful person in the world.
Yeah, I might fall on you or something, but that'll be about it.
So how old were you when you first started doing the boxing stuff? And did you do anything before that? Like, so you played rugby, 12 years old, whatever, then you didn't do anything up until you were about 20, or?
So I played rugby 10 till about 12. And through school as well, but not really seriously. Started going to the gym on and off from about 15 to my early 20s.
Doing some curls.
Massive arms.
Nice.
So yeah, that was very sporadic though. I had trouble committing to it because it just didn't interest me.
Yeah.
Like I'd go for a month and like, I'm a bit bored of that now.
Yeah.
But and I suppose that's why I've stuck with jiu-jitsu. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you're really committed to jiu-jitsu. Is it hard going training as much as you do? I'm like, it's really not, because I love it. I enjoy it. It's easy. It feels like a bit of a cheat code. Because like, oh yeah, you're really committed. Well, it's because I enjoy it. That's why I do.
It's not as difficult when it's actually fun. Yeah.
So that's probably why I've stuck with jiu-jitsu like that.
But like the next thing that you did, and the first martial arts thing was obviously the boxing stuff, but it was all rugby, and then you kind of and lifting weights and stuff, and then you kind of went into what made you want to go and do boxing?
Well, one of my best friends at the time, I was living with him, and he had a group of friends who owned one of the top MMA gyms in the UK at the time, a gym called Quantum, and that's where I met there's three brothers, two twins, Andy and Ian, Dave and Ian Butlin, pro MMA fighters, and their brother Andy, who was a boxer. Started hanging around with Andy, went up, he's had heaps of amateur fights, boxed, I could be wrong here, but I think he might have boxed for England, or his brother did, or Yorkshire, I can't remember now. So hanging out with him, started doing boxing classes. I realised I'd really enjoyed it, and just the whole gym culture as well. Just
very camaraderie.
Camaraderie. You're part of a team, but it's your effort is I don't want to say rewarded, but the effort you put in is what you get out at the end.
You directly get like a result based on your effort, as opposed to like what you're saying with the team stuff. You can be the best player and work as hard as you want, but if 15 other people aren't doing the same thing, you still don't win and get the result you want. So I get that part.
And that's all them guys were all doing MMA at the time as well. So it was just fun seeing them on the mats. And then the two brothers who set the gym up, they used to live with, do you remember Herberto Talla, who came here? They lived with him in like 2001 maybe, or maybe a bit later. They learnt a lot of jiu-jitsu from him. And he, because in England back then, the grappling scene was more, it was a lot less Brazilian than over here. It was more like submission wrestling, bit of catch wrestling, because that's from around where I'm from. Japanese submission fighting, that kind of stuff. Like their original coach, I think he was in, oh gosh, I can't remember the, maybe Pancrase or something.
So it came more also from other martial arts and from MMA. The influences like initially.
Yes, it did.
It was a bit like that too. Right at the beginning.
Really? Even in
just them early 2000s. So I'm thinking back, like, I know every older guy who does jiu-jitsu says this. I wish I'd have stuck with it when I was 23. But just.
So how old were you when you first started like doing jiu-jitsu?
First jiu-jitsu lesson was probably 23, 24.
Oh, okay, all right. It's pretty young, man.
So, and then, just kind of messed around, did a few classes here and there for a couple of years. Still hung around with the same people. But just, I also enjoyed the camaraderie. And I probably wasn't too, if I'm honest, I probably wasn't too committed to the training. No,
it was just the guys you're around and hanging out with them and stuff.
Having good times and
drinking buddies.
Going for food.
That
was the big thing. I also started eating like I was a professional fighter, which if I wasn't burning the calories like they were.
That's not good then, is it?
Nah. No, I did it. I was doing it wrong, but I had a good time.
Yeah. Well, that's what counts, man. As long as everyone was enjoying. Yeah.
Mick, this commitment through love that you had at the beginning, there was a really, I think, a big mark of your training here. You always committed. You always coming very regular, and I think that also later on pays off in a way that because you kind of like feel fulfilled, like, man, I'm learning more, and then becomes more fun even. So it's like a cycle.
It is,
so then I'll go again. But man, I did that sweep that I've been trying yesterday, so I'll commit it again, you know?
Yeah, it's a self-perpetuating cycle because the more you come, the more you learn, the more you can do, the more excited you are because it's like, man, that's really working for me now. I want to learn something else to get this other thing working. So you learn more because you come more, and it's the opposite of a vicious cycle. It's a positive cycle.
It's an upward spiral, not a downward spiral. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit as well, like with a few other people. Like you build momentum in both directions. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of talking about. If you like, the thing is just like getting started. The hardest point is just like starting on the upward trajectory or the downward trajectory. Once something happens and you just like, it's kind of like those physics things keep doing what they already doing, you know what I mean? The inertia or whatever of like, you know, you push the ball or whatever, it's going to keep going in that direction. It's really difficult for it to change direction. So to maintain like that same kind of direction, whether it upward or downward, is important that you understand that it is a momentum thing. Like once you come, you know, twice a week and you keep coming twice a week and you learn one skill, you want to learn another one, and it's this like growth mindset, getting better, improvement, all the other stuff. But it also goes in the other direction. You have to be really careful with that. It builds momentum mentally and also in like what's actually achieved in what you're actually kind of like getting out of what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Did you, for example, someone was telling me this the other day, this week actually, and I was like, well, this is exactly what happened to me, that sometimes you didn't sleep well, maybe you didn't eat well, you don't have a good day, you don't feel good, and you come on the mat, like you had everything to be a really bad day on a mat, and it's an amazing day. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like just the proof that like, man, if that day that you're like, go on the downwards spiral like Anto is going, if you just not come, you know what I mean, create an excuse that's going to generate another day that's an excuse, you just committed one more time, you kind of go again, you know.
And that's a really important thing. I was actually going to mention something very similar before you said that. So it's your mind plays tricks on you. It can tell you not to go. The same example you've used there, if you then go, you have the best day ever, you walk out thinking, I'm glad I didn't listen to myself.
What, exactly.
Yeah, and then like you guys are talking about, like then you feel good about going tomorrow or the next session, you're already excited for it. Whereas if you take a session, even I do this happens with me. Like for example, I'm kind of tired and I can't be bothered lifting weights. And literally that decision to go like, all right, man, I'm just going to do it anyway. And then you feel better afterwards.
You never regret afterwards.
You never regret afterwards. And then you go, but the thing is you complete the sessions you have for the rest of the week because you just did that one session when you didn't feel good. Whereas if you take that one session off where you didn't feel good, then the next session comes around, you're like, oh man, I'm kind of tired too. And if you do it, it's not as intense as you would have trained normally, or you miss that one too, and then you have the whole week off. And it's like, this is the starting point of where you actually, like, that's
where the spiral can start.
Can continue to start. So like your ability to like break out of the cycles when you're not feeling good, or be consistent with the stuff with what you're saying, like, even though I don't feel good or whatever, man, you still go there and do it anyway. That stuff really has a massive difference in like long-term outcomes. You don't think it's a big deal, but it's like one choice that starts that kind of cycle.
But I love the way, it's really interesting to see, like, I love these conversations because people put similar subjects in just a different way they put it, like the way you put it, like with the tricking the mind, you know what I mean? Like it's really what it is, you know. So you committed, you come, then your mind get used to, no, I'll feel like not doing, but I did, so that's okay. So your mind doesn't start playing a bigger game against you, you know. And
you get like little strategies where you're pretty much, I'm pretty much always tired when I'm going training, but that's everybody. everybody's always tired. Everybody's got things they need to do. Everybody's got problems, challenges, commitments. You can do them and train. Like, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
I'd rather my life was running at 110%, and I can do something I enjoy, than running at 80% and I don't get to do what I enjoy.
And be miserable because you don't get to fulfill the things you want to do.
I'm relaxed and I'm not tired, but I'm not doing what I want to do.
Yeah. I think this is actually an interesting comment. Like, I think this is a Western thing. I think it's a kind of a privilege of being in a, like a well-off situation. Like, only in like a situation where like, there's abundance of all things can you go, oh, I don't feel like it. I'm just not going to do it, man. This is like, if you said this to anybody else from a third world situation, right, they'd be like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what, you feel tired? That's it? No, like, you're supposed to be tired, man. Yeah, you're supposed to be tired. It's not supposed
to be easy.
Like, this like consistent pursuit for like always feeling comfortable, though, I think that is a very Western thing. Like, we've talked about this type of stuff before, and like the mind stuff. Even we talked with Martin about, I didn't feel good on the comp day, but I went there and then, I felt good about it and I overcome like a mental hurdle and stuff. And you have those little decisions everywhere in life. But like this obsession with feeling comfortable all the time is really like negative for a lot of people. I think people have been either like brainwashed or tricked into believing that you're supposed to feel good all the time, and I think the thing that they're really looking for is total comfort. I want to be comfortable all the time. I don't ever want to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to go and do that extra session in the week. I don't feel good, and I think that's a really detrimental attitude to have. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if like, have you experienced that, in Brazil? I don't know if you have in the UK or whatever. I see it because I travel a little bit with competing and everything, and I think that's a purely Western. And like, even I've been to the US, like even there I don't think it's as bad. Like, I think like the Australian culture is very laid back, but it also has that kind of like that Western view, and they're really like looking to just be comfortable all the time. They're happy to sit back, not really work hard. Work, 3 days a week, not really feeling fully fulfilled, never feeling tired. I don't want to feel tired. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're like, and for the most part, a lot of people are really unhappy with their lives. They're miserable. They're like, oh, I'm behind. I haven't achieved anything. It's like, yeah, no shit. You barely do anything. Yeah. What do you guys think? I just want to hear other people's perspective of this like comfort pursuit thing, because I don't know. I think culturally it's different, and societally it's different, whatever. But
I think quite a bit of it. Now, I might not word this perfectly, but
don't worry about it. Say whatever you want.
I think what a lot of it could be down to is, like, example, you'll see an advert selling you for a car.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this car's got like heated seats. It can give you a massage while you're in traffic.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know I needed a car where I need a massage until now. Mine don't have a massage and my car's rubbish.
Yeah.
And I think that general principle is probably where it could come from. We always, you might be happy with what you've got, and then you see something which is maybe a slight improvement, such as a back massager whilst you're driving.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
No.
If you want a massage, you go for a proper massage. If you need one. It's just something what somebody wants you to think that you need to make your life better. Most of it we don't need.
So do you think that comes to the comfort thing? You think people are just marketed to so aggressively, they always push to be comfortable and happy all the time? Is that like...
It could be, yeah. So I'm guessing we've read a lot of the same books, podcasts. You've got the extreme version of it, like David Goggins. Where he almost seems like he hates comfort.
Yeah.
He thinks it makes him weak. So that's like the extreme version of what we're talking about, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, the opposite, the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say that most people are never going to be David Goggins. Most people are never going to have the mental toughness or the fortitude to go out and do these ultra marathons and have blood in their boots and all this stuff. Like, they're not going to do that. But I think like obviously the reason these guys like him are so impressive and so inspiring is because people wish they could do that. You know what I mean? Everyone, the things that are impressive to other people are things that you can't do on your own. Like you can't do by yourself. Wow, that's impressive. Someone dedicated a lot of time and effort and all that type of thing into something that I can't do easily. That's impressive. But for a guy like that, I think the thing that a lot of people connect with is like they wish that they had like the savageness or the mental toughness to just go out and do the things that they want to do, even though it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? And that's why I think guys like that get quite big and they get a lot of following and stuff like that. What do you think, Eduardo, about like why do you think people are so obsessed with just trying to feel comfortable? Because like you can compare it to jiu-jitsu, you can compare it to a lot of things, but I just want to know where this attitude come from. Is it like just a modern day thing? Like,
I think it's...
Has it always been that way?
The more you put yourself out there, the more you try to make things happen, the more you're going to be inspired to do it more. Do you know what I mean? The more you're going to go, oh man, that works. You know what I mean? If I put more effort, if I maybe sleep less, but I work more, and then I can... But I kind of relate with what Mick is saying. If the goals are blurry and changed because of like the way the things are advertised for us and the things that are supposed to be important are not important anymore, you know what I mean? Like, and we give value for very material things that are like suddenly this is what means this, I have this, I'm important, or, you know, and people look at me different, I'm chasing the wrong things. So there's not much happiness in these wrong chases. It's a very, very short period lived, you know what I mean? You buy a car, you're gonna sit there, your bum's gonna get warm one day, but man, after 3 or 4 days,
you don't care anymore.
The indicator works same way, aircon, all the cars have, you know, there's not much about it. So you're gonna go, well, but how about the other one that costs 150,000? This one is just 100, you know?
No, I think
that's never gonna end.
So I think what you guys are saying is like most people don't have like genuine core goals or like values or things that they actually have given their life purpose. Is that kind of like what you guys are saying?
Yeah, I think, and
I agree.
Yeah, and I think
why do people not have purpose anymore?
Because if you do have the right goals and the right purpose, you will balance. You'll be looking to balance it, everything else. So it's gonna be your health. It's gonna be your fitness. It's gonna be your family. It's gonna be your friends. Everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
more meaningful stuff.
Savings for important things. You know what I mean?
But like, why do people not have purpose anymore? Why do you think that? Because I'll compare this to jiu-jitsu. Like I remember when I started jiu-jitsu when I was 14 years old. The guys that were there at jiu-jitsu, they were all purposeful. They didn't turn up and do jiu-jitsu because it wasn't popular even. Like they didn't do jiu-jitsu to take an Instagram photo. They didn't do jiu-jitsu because it was the cool thing and they heard on a podcast. They were like real martial artists. They all fought MMA. They all did other martial arts. They're like, man, I do kickboxing, but now I want to know what to do with wrestling. Like they were really genuinely interested in learning another area of martial arts because they're like, man, this is interesting, this is cool. Like I notice it in a lot of different areas, but I think a lot of people come to jiu-jitsu without purpose now too because it's just popular or it's the cool thing. It's like the new CrossFit or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is what everyone does. All the celebrities are doing it. Everyone's doing this. Everybody come to jiu-jitsu, and I think that alone is why people don't have as much success as they could. Because like when Mick started, he genuinely loved the thing. That's why he kept turning up. Yeah. I think a lot of people just turn up just because it's something to do. A lot of other people are doing it and we'll see how we go. And then they're like upset that their belts and stuff don't go as fast as they want or whatever. But the point I'm kind of making overall is like, what happened to people and what happened to people not having any purpose? Like when did this change happen?
I think it could be a bit I don't want to use the word misguided, but maybe it's been, so it's hard to keep things simple.
Yeah.
So if your purpose is to go, I don't know, catch a deer and eat the deer, and that's all you've got to do to keep yourself alive, you're going to go do it. But then you're going to catch your deer, it's 3,000 years later, you go to catch your deer, and you've got this guy telling you about your massage chair in your new car that you need.
You're right, that's too much now.
You know, like,
It's like a bombardment.
About the massage chair.
Takes the simpler things what we need to make ourselves happy and fulfilled. And you've got all these different things, distractions, which are like lower value, but because there's so many of them coming at you, it's very
people
easy
don't know what to pick. I agree with that. I think a good analogy is like, all right, you're going to catch the deer, but then you see a bird and then a rabbit and then a snake and then this and then that, and you're like, which one do I catch?
Oh, that snake's got diamonds on it.
Yeah. That's even the most extreme. Like the car seat warmer, and then this one's a back massager, and this one has a hot chick in the front seat, and this one this. I know.
My God, have you seen them new sunglasses? I need them.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that as well.
No, of course we all are. We're all human, and the thing is like with all the marketing and all that, like they have so much information and data and analytics on how people science behind it, like the amount of money that they invest in that area of stuff to get people to look at their products and buy their products is insane. But I think you're right. So it's almost as if like one of the main
massage chair, but it's very true. It's very true.
I think that it's the massage chair, but like the bigger thing is like, because we're in wealthy
and
situations,
all its versions as well.
And all its variations of the massage chair, but like we're like the victims of too much option, of too much choice, and that comes to like what people, even, you know what I mean, like I talked to other people that were older, like from my mum's group of friends, my grandparents and stuff like that. When they went to school, there was like 4 university degrees. That was it, like 4 things. You did this, you did this, you did this, and with a science degree or a mathematics degree or whatever, you did this stuff. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't 28,000 different degrees, and like even with like carpentry and the building trade and stuff like that, you didn't need 2,000 tickets. Do you know what I'm saying? You needed a license in this and a license in that. And have you been accredited for waterproofing? Have you been accredited for polishing shoes? Have you been accredited for, putting this little, like, the little skirting board? Like every single thing now needs a specialization. And it's like before, like now, like that's what I'm talking to do with the overwhelming part is like, even as a kid, when you go to like university or you want to go and study more, you're like, what the hell do I pick? They're like, I don't know, there's 2,000 choices, 200,000 choices. Like, it's too difficult. They don't know what they want, and then they try this a little bit and they don't like that and they want to try that, and it's all over the place. Whereas I think
there are the choices created by the world of massage chairs. For example,
you've got,
mom, I'm going to be a gamer. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a university for that. Someone there.
There actually is. No. There's actually not universities, but there's like academies now that you can pay
they're gonna
to be a professional gamer.
You're right. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the choices are now, like in a way that like, man, people going. They're losing what's important, like what's the, a handshake, you know what I mean? Like you had a handshake, that's done, that kind of like, be honest to people, like all these kind of menial things are more important than everything. And now people are looking back to this sometimes, people want to have a person that is like just raw, tell as it is. Like you want to deal with this kind of people.
You know what the problem?
Funny thing.
I think as you get older, you want to be like that. But I think the problem with for most younger people or people from the younger generation, because they're so used to just being overstimulated, they're so used to like all the chaos and all the bombardment and all the stimulation. Like when they get something real, it's fucking boring. They're bored, man. Do you know what I mean? Like if you get a couple kids that like play on iPads religiously on whatever, you bring them into jiu-jitsu. If they sit down to learn a technique, if you talk for more than 3 minutes, they can't be bothered. Like they can't even pay attention for that long. They don't have the capacity to do that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Their brain is so used to, and this is like, this goes to dating, this goes to how people operate in jobs. Do you know how many people, we all know people that change jobs constantly. They're not happy in any position. They're not happy in anything. They're looking for fulfillment. They're looking for something. They're looking for a new massage chair. They're looking for a new job. They're looking for a new partner. They're looking for a different gym to get a belt quicker. They want another technique that's cooler than the technique that they're doing now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm always looking for something outside of my mind, outside of my body. What am I going to find that's going to make me feel better or whatever? And it's like, this is literally, like I've talked about this before. This is literally no different than like a drug addict chasing like another high of I need to feel good.
And when you think like this, even a young child, the parents now, because of they also getting all these things, they're like, okay, my son does on Monday, he does flute classes, Tuesdays is poetry, Wednesday jiu-jitsu, Thursday soccer,
and Friday he's swimming, and Saturday he's in the gaming academy. He's a gamer.
Yeah, he's a gamer. So well, he's not going to be good at anything. He's not going to commit in anything. He's not going to create resilience in anything. He's not going to be accountable for anything. Great job.
I agree with that, and I think, like, we can go into the whole participation trophy award stuff if you want, but like the thing is with this stuff, everyone just changes over too quick too. Like, no one really, like, again, no one really finds purpose or things that they truly enjoy and commits to it. They just do 10,000 things, or, you know, have really surface level interactions with everything, whether it's friendships. Oh, I've got hundreds of friends. I've got 2,000 friends on Facebook. I've got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah, but how many people actually care about you? How many people are actually going to help you when you need help? How many people are actually going to, like, help you move house if you need that? How many people are actually going to come and have a lunch or a dinner with you if you're not happy with life and you want to talk to somebody? There's very few people like that. So what's the point of building all these surface level relationships with thousands of other people? Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing you guys are kind of talking about with the activities. Oh, I did a little bit of this, take a photo, put it on Instagram. Man, parents do it of their own freaking kids, man. They take pictures of their kids in the gaming thing next to the coach or whatever, and then they just put it on their own Instagram to show off, like, oh, my kid's doing this, and then he's also doing this, and he's also doing this, and he's the swimming kid, and and it's like, man, what's the purpose of? Is that for the kid or is that for you?
Yeah, the projecting.
Do you know what I mean? Just in all these different levels of stuff, it's like, okay, what's actually going to be the most meaningful thing for you and your kid? Probably let him do something that he enjoys, let him commit to it, fail at it, help him get through that, help them improve, and, like, you know, foster a good, like, core values and attitude you're going to learn in life through difficult shit, like learning difficult stuff, putting a kid in jiu-jitsu, the challenges of life that they learn through games. Oh, it's just a game. Yeah, it is a game, but through games where you win and lose, you learn reality, you learn life. It could be rugby, it could be wrestling, it could be jiu-jitsu, it could be soccer, it doesn't matter. It could be swimming, it could be gaming. Gaming, I don't think as much works because it's not tangible. I think you have to do something physical to learn this stuff a little more. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, guys. Man, how do you give people purpose again? What do you do, man? How do you stop people being distracted?
Which brings me to an interesting point, Mick. Because you were a fly-in, fly-out.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, I know a few students that are fly-in, fly-out, and a lot of people, they have a hard time, let's say the 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, they have a hard time to actually commit because they all think, oh, the other 2 weeks I'm going to be out anyway, so I'm just going to be while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy a little bit and with my family, and I'll be drinking and party, you know what I mean? But then there's no routine, there's no... and you did that really well. Like, when you're here, like, it was the person that was seeing the most was you. So... what kind of advice, you know, you'd give to someone in this kind of pattern of work?
Well, I think what really was kept me training as much as I do with the 5-4 lifestyle, because I'm currently week on, week off. I have been since I started jiu-jitsu this time round, and
you're a black belt at it.
Black belt now, yeah.
Black belt at fly-in, fly-out. You should make a course on how to train fly-in, fly-out, man.
Hey, that's probably not bad. That's what you should do on the cuts as well.
Then I can
fly-in, fly-out.
Fly-in, fly-out.
Advice from a black belt.
Advice. Anybody that needs the course, DM Gothard right now. DM him freedom. If you DM him freedom in his inbox right now, you will learn the course of how to be
10% income.
Yeah, 10% income back to BJJ101 STOREROOM podcast, guys. Use the link Gothard1.
And you have three different packages. They have a fly-in, fly-out, 1 week in, 3 off.
Yep. Yeah.
How to become a black belt in 5 years' time? Fly-in, fly-out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so what, I suppose with me starting when I was a bit older, I was 33, probably 34. So when I'm home, this worked for me. I don't know if it's going to work for everyone. When it's home, I train as much as I could. If I'm feeling sore, tired, I still come training. I just work on defence, or just pick something to work on if you're not feeling 100%. But then again, like we're saying, no one ever feels 100%. So train as much as you can when you're home.
You came with a purpose. You had a purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So
how do people, man? We're back to the same point as before, man.
So obviously the purpose is to get better. You're going to get tapped. You're going to get in bad positions. You're going to get injured. That happens. Just train as much as you can when you're at home. Then when you go to work for your, let's say you're on an even time roster, then first couple of days...
Then you get the course, guys. It's going to be available next month.
Trying to paywall the rest of it, guys, I'm sorry. So when you get to work, I'd have maybe, especially now, I'll have maybe 1-2 days where I don't do anything. Obviously I go to work, but gym-wise. And then the other days, what I try and do, gym-wise, when I'm at work, I try and strengthen my body for jiu-jitsu, keep my cardio up. So if I'm still sore, I'll just go and do cardio, get out of breath, get a sweat on. 45 minutes a day.
Perfect.
Don't need to spend 2 hours in the gym. If I'm lifting, I don't want to fatigue my muscles or risk injury for jiu-jitsu. So I'll just do light weights, plenty of reps, 20, 25 reps, nothing crazy. Instead of increasing the weight, I'll do the reps slower. And I might, in a week, I might only do that. A good week is I'll go to the gym at work 5 times. A week that I'm okay with, 3 times.
A serious question about that, Mick. And there, all these locations, these work locations bases, do they must offer fitness facilities? Yeah,
so most, like these days, most mine campsites do have gym facilities.
Gotcha.
Which it's kind of like it's in their interest to provide good facilities these days, because there's so much competition, especially at the moment for workers, that the facilities are like food and the gym is pretty much the 2 things that need to be good these days. And that's another thing as well. So it's actually easier to eat well when you're at work because you're not preparing anything yourself. So you can go in and you can eat as well as you want, or as
shit as you want.
Yeah. You can go and have a tub of ice cream if you want. No one will judge you. But yeah, so that's going back to the main point. So yeah, just light training, get a sweat up, move your body, maintain your fitness whilst you're at work. Watch a load of videos. I download a lot of YouTube videos for when I'm on the plane. It doesn't necessarily have to be technique. It can be like, I don't know, there's a few videos on maybe, I don't know, Leo Vieira showing you around his gym or whatever, just to keep your head in the game. Keep your head in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's the physical side is just one component. Like rehearsing the movement in your mind, going over things, listening, watching fights, all that stuff. Purpose. This is all taking in information. Yeah,
I learn a lot watching fights. I learn a lot watching fights. Like I learn a lot watching moves. Learn watching BJJ101. Like more specific, I learn watching like when Anton's fighting and there's a comp. I watch his fights, but I also the whole day there. So I'm literally obligated to watch. I want to watch someone that's going to fight him or that is in the bracket. So you always see something like at least 1-2 details. Like, man, this is good. You know
what the difference is though. Like you're only going to do this level of like purposeful training or purposeful like commitment to doing something if you actually give a shit about it and love it. You can't do this if you don't give a shit about it.
And give a shit mean accountable as well. I think there has to be accountable.
Yeah, no, but you're not going to be accountable about anything if you don't care about it. Like if I don't give a shit about playing soccer, why am I going to go and do all this extra stuff? Why?
You're right.
I'm not going to do it, man. So the starting point is like you can't force yourself to enjoy something. You can't force yourself to willfully go through and be this dedicated to anything. You have to actually want to do it. So if you don't love the thing that you're trying to get good at, fucking find something else, man, because you're wasting your time, dude. Because if you can't do all the stuff that Gothard's talking about, you're probably never going to become a black belt. Like, you actually have to be purposeful and be deliberate with everything you do, and you have to, like, have that level of discipline. He goes there, goes to the mine site, instead of fucking off and eating ice cream for a whole week, he eats well, he works out, he watches videos, he goes on the plane, he listens to stuff. He's actually obsessed and in love with the thing that he's doing. And that's the difference. The difference between someone being good at something and being mediocre or average is whether they actually give a shit enough to be disciplined. Do they actually care about the thing they're doing? Yes or no? This is no different than, again, business, relationship, whatever.
I think you nail it. You nail it. It's about back to the and which is about bring us back to that purpose, man. You have a purpose. Like, you're not gonna be, oh, I'm too tired, or I feel uncomfortable. Man, you have a purpose.
No, he is like that, but he still does it anyway because he cares enough about it to do that. This is the point. Like, the point is this: is like, for example, when I go and do yoga, I'm not in love with yoga. I just do it because it's good for me, and it's good for me, and it helps my joints and all this stuff. So when I don't feel like doing it, I fucking stop training. I stop going. It happens all the time. Then I get injured, and I go on my neck, and then I go back. But like, for me, it's like, unless I had someone to do it with me, or I paid somebody to do the sessions for me and stuff like that, it's hard for me to be motivated to continually go to yoga because I just don't care. I don't care. I'm not in love with yoga. I don't want to go to yoga all the time. Maybe I went to the wrong gym and the girls weren't attractive enough. Who knows, right? But I'm not in love with yoga like I am with jiu-jitsu. If I've got a knee injury and I'm completely destroyed or whatever, I'll still come here and I'll still watch the classes and I'll still go over positions and I'll still do things. I don't have that excitement to do that for yoga. Do you know what I'm saying?
But sometimes you can kind of rewire, right, to create a purpose that, like, oh, look, this is going to make me more flexible for jiu-jitsu. This is going to make me protect more my ligaments. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
You can kind of like rewire to make it, you know what I mean?
And that's kind of what I do with the gym at work. Like, I hate going to the gym at work. It really doesn't interest me.
Exactly the same.
But I know if I'm on the elliptical machine, I can put my phone on the front, put a video on that I want to watch, listen to music, listen to a podcast, and just get the work.
You can't fake genuine desire, man.
And you know that when you come back to training in next 2 weeks' time, you're not going to die on the first 2 trains, you know what I mean?
That's
because you've done that.
I agree with what you're saying, but still, he's more likely to miss a gym session than he is a jiu-jitsu class.
Yes.
See the point?
But when he found a purpose, he helps at least.
100%. You need purpose in everything for you to be able to commit to things. 100%. But what I'm saying is you can't fake genuine desire. You can't fake it. If you're not genuinely interested in being good at that thing or dedicated to doing that because you love the thing that you're doing, you're probably not going to fucking do it. Or when there is the times that you're down or low or whatever, you're only going to do 2 sessions that week. Same with the yoga. I can't be fucked. All right, I'll stretch for 30 minutes at home, but I'm not doing yoga. And it's stupid, right? It's not good. It's a poor mental approach. But I don't have the same love or care for that thing. So that's the thing that goes straight away. Whenever I don't feel like doing shit, that's the first thing that suffers. Not jiu-jitsu, not wrestling, not other things, not lifting weights. I love doing that stuff.
The way you mentioned that, then that is exactly me at work with the gym. So I'll get back to my room. It's long days, 12-hour days. Have something to eat. Go back to my room. It's 8 p.m. I've left my room at 6 a.m.
You have the room. You have like a wallet of excuses. By 8
you've got every excuse under the sun. Yeah. And I'll be. It might be cold, too warm. There's too many flies. Whatever. I don't want to put my gym gear on, and I'll do the same as you. I'll be like, I'll just stretch in my room for 20 minutes, and then at least I've done something.
Yeah.
There's these weeks where I go to work, and I have the worst week for training ever. I might have double dessert every night.
Yeah.
I might have a couple of beers like on the last night, and I go back to training, and obviously the hard work I haven't done comes out, and then I've only got myself to blame. I don't blame anything else, and the next swing, try again.
Well, that's
I don't just stay at that. It's like, no, I had a bad week last week. That doesn't define how the rest of my life's going to go. This week, I'm going to be better.
100%. And you have... This is the thing with doing something physical, not like gaming, right? Is you're going to have a real physical consequence for what you haven't done.
Yes, for sure.
I had that. I did the ADCC trials not long ago. I didn't really do a proper preparation. You know, I'm big and strong and athletic, and I just turn up to a lot of comps in Australia and just bash everyone. It's easy for me. Yeah, great. But then you go to something a little bit bigger. And, you know, the crazy thing is, too, is like, I did that with 3 guys before that until I got to the final. Then you get to the final and you go, oh, shit, I'm not fit, man. Holy shit, I didn't really do enough work. And then you obviously you need the setbacks and shit, but it's just silly for me. Like, you know, I mean, I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I know it's a big comp and all these types of things, but I didn't do any preparation, didn't do this, didn't do that. Oh no, shit, I'm unfit. All right, yeah, like you can still make a fight because you're good. You can still make it difficult for somebody, but you're not really that competitive. You know what I mean? You have to be doing all that extra stuff to improve. It's no different than somebody that's a beginner or like you or whatever, and they're not watching the videos. They're not looking at other avenues of looking on how to improve jiu-jitsu. They don't want to do a private. So when they come and train, they barely do any technique. They just do like 2 or 3 reps, and then they just want to roll the whole time. And then they roll with no understanding, no techniques, nothing. Like, well, I haven't improved. And it's like, dude, you come twice a week or twice a fortnight or something like that, or once a week. You just go nuts for the hour that you're here. You don't do anything technical. How the fuck do you expect to improve? Like, you got to do certain things. Like, I got to stretch so I don't get injured, and I've got to do more cardio and more, you know, fitness stuff when I'm leading up to comps and do a camp and a preparation, like which I've never done before, even though I've done for a long time. And, you know, we can go into those things a little bit more too. Like, some people have genetic differences. Like, the reason I've not had to do that stuff before is because I got by without doing it. Yeah. Just like if you're a big, strong guy here, you don't have to get technical. Do you know why? Because you can just rip on a Kimura on fucking 90% of the people in the gym and it works.
Yeah. You touched on something there which I didn't mention about in my 5-4 survival BJJ course. Privates, that's a big thing.
Okay.
I did privates pretty much through all of my colour belts.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't just, with the privates, I wouldn't just come in and like,
what are you going to teach me?
Make me better.
Yeah, that's the most common approach. If I'm honest, they no thought. See again, this is what you're about to explain now. I'm not going to say anything. What you're about to explain now is the difference between somebody that is actually in love and obsessed with the thing that they're doing, and somebody that's just here for the purpose of being. Like, the purpose of them being here is just to fill time.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Right. So 2 things for the private lessons which I would always try and focus on. First one is try and catch up on the things where I'd missed in the week that I was away. Say like, oh, what did you do last week while I was away, and go through that. And the second one, I'd remember what I was struggling with when I was there the last time, and I'd look for
in training.
Yeah, in training.
Yeah, that's my always advice to people when they want to even book a private sector. Well, what's not working for you? What do you want to, you know, like
most of the people that comes to privates do the thing that he talked about first. Is they just turn up and they're like, all right, well, what do I need to get good at?
You're gonna tell me 3 things, and I'm gonna be living here amazing.
Yeah.
Well, just like a hairdresser.
But even if they don't believe that, like the thing you're going to teach them is make them better, they haven't even had the awareness to look at the shit that they're not good at. They haven't even analyzed their own ability. Like, this is the difference between somebody that's interested in what they're doing and has genuine desire behind improving. Because when you have desire, when you genuinely want to do something, you're going to go out of your way to figure out how to make it happen.
You're going to go deeper.
Of course, you're going to go deeper. You just
get better.
Correct. You're going to figure out a way to make it work. Everybody that's like, oh, I wish, oh, I want to. No, you don't want to. Because if you wanted to, you would have done something about it. The rest is all mumbo jumbo bullshit, man. Sign up now. Gothard 1.
Do you know, there's another thing too. A lot of things in life. That's the other thing too. A lot of things in life you can pass with a 5 or 6 out of 10. You know what I mean? So, oh man, I'll tell the coach a nice move. I'll show him one day that I can do a Tarico Plata, and I know what I mean, that I saw right now, and I'll show that I ask 3 questions. You think I'm doing great, you know? But like, you know, like I'm looking good, you know, like, but they're not really going into the final, you know, to make them literally better. They're just showing that, trying to show, portray they're getting better, you know?
You can tell.
That's the other thing that I found a lot of people doing. Like, man, be accountable, go search, ask yourself what you need to work on, what is everyone should be meeting all the time, what you don't know what to do whatsoever, you feel lost.
And that's why you need to get to the, like I'm sure we all know about the 4 stages of learning, you need to get to that conscious incompetence stage.
Can you explain that for people though?
So the first 2 I believe are possibly the most important. So the first one is unconscious incompetence. So you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to drive a race car, yeah, I don't know how that race car works. So I might say something along the lines of, oh yeah, well, to go faster, I'll just grab that stick there and push that button. And the guy who I'm saying that to, who's a professional driver, might be like, well, this guy doesn't even know there's no button there to go faster. What's he talking about? So that's unconscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence would be, right, I know when I get in that race car, to go faster, I'm going to have to press that pedal, but I don't know how much to press it to go faster, to go as fast as I want to go.
Yeah.
I need to learn that, so I'll go ask somebody who does know.
Yeah. So
that's conscious competence. The other 2, I'm not actually that clear on. So the other 2 is, Anton,
I'm not sure. Is it unconscious competence?
I think that's the last. That could be the last.
Because there must be unconscious competence, so being able to do something but not understanding how it works, and then conscious competence is being able to do something but actually understanding how it works. Is that correct?
Yes, and doing it like almost automatically.
Yeah.
That's
I'm pretty sure there will be the social media competence. I saw on social media here.
So what it would be then is conscious competence. So being able to cognitively figure it out, and then unconscious competence where you don't have to think about it, happens automatically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the last 2 stages. Apologies, guys. I'm not really too up on them, but yeah, then first 2 I think are really important, especially in jiu-jitsu, because you know yourselves, you get guys come up to and they'll tell you they pulled off some mad triangle on Jim Bob who came in yesterday, and they're talking about how they did it, and you're thinking, I know you didn't do it because you wouldn't do that. That's not how you do that. Mm-hmm. But they don't know that's not how you do it.
Yeah, they don't know it's not even possible to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I think that is definitely an important point. Like, man, what you guys are talking about now, though, like to do with like consciousness and unconsciousness and stuff, I think it's easier to get to these levels of competency if you're actually genuinely interested in the fucking thing you're doing. How about you start with that? Yeah. So, like, you might think jiu-jitsu is cool and do this and do that, but if you don't genuinely enjoy it, you probably shouldn't dedicate time to it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. You should try, and you might fall in love with it in the process of just having fun and enjoying or whatever. And again, maybe you can find some purpose behind doing that thing. Like, oh, I don't really like it, but I know it's good for me, and I'm going to make sure because, I've got some health conditions, and I need to make sure I stay healthy, and this is more fun than anything else I've tried, whatever, right? To do with the consciousness stuff, like, I think it's easier for people, though, like I said before, to do whatever when they genuinely enjoy the thing. So figure out how to enjoy it. This is something that I've kind of talked with people before. It's like, you have to figure out a way to have fun in doing jiu-jitsu. You have to figure that out. Like you're talking about rewiring to make purpose for yoga. You have to rewire jiu-jitsu and turn it into a fun thing for you, a game, something you can enjoy. Because if you can't enjoy it, you're probably not going to stick it through, man. And if you don't do all these little extra things like Gothard's talking about, doing privates, but not only doing the private, actually spending his own time assessing his own performance, going there and going, actually, you know what else? I didn't do all of last week. What did they work on? I need to work on that. This is somebody that's actually consciously looking at the things that they need to improve on. This is the growth mindset. This is, someone dedicated to their own self-improvement. The attitude that Gothard's talking about is how you improve, man. This is the basis of how you improve. You have to come with this attitude. Now, how do you make somebody have that attitude? I don't know. It's self-imposed, I think. I don't think anybody can make you do this shit.
No, because you're not gonna. It shines through if you're not committed to doing something. You can tell. Like it's, and I think with obviously we all do jiu-jitsu, so we can tell in other areas of life when someone's faking being interested in something. It kind of sets your jiu-jitsu. It can set your radar for other things. It's not just jiu-jitsu. See it in the workplace all the time. Speak like with non-jiu-jitsu people, you can tell when they're faking something a lot of the time.
Yeah, whether it's like they fucked up something and they lie about it or whatever, or they're like, can you solve this problem? Yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I think it's important for people. I think that's just humbleness, though. I think that's being humble enough to, again, our accountability and a mixture of all these things. But like, if you don't know something, who gives a shit? When did that become so like fear, like scary? Oh, I can't show people any weakness or anything like that. When did it become like that? Because like I know my grandparents and I know the people that they were around. Like they would just be like, "Look, I don't know what the fuck to do. What do you want me to do?
How are you actually going to get?
If you don't,
do you know? Just pretend."
This is something that I've heard before that I think is actually super interesting. I don't think people know how to take instruction anymore, and also they're not willing to like take instructions, follow instructions, or just like commit themselves or just accept the fact that they don't know anything. You need to listen to other people. How can I get to a black belt of jiu-jitsu if I've never listened to anybody else about jiu-jitsu? How is that possible? It's fucking not. Because you started at a point where you had no information, you had no understanding, you had no skill. And then to acquire said skill to get to the next belt level, you go and seek out somebody that has more information and understanding and skill than you. They tell you what to do and you go and do it. Just like at school, I don't know how to spell. All right, listen to me. I'm going to teach you how to spell. When did people lose the ability to do that? Because it's not common anymore. People don't want to fucking listen. People are telling, you know what I mean? Like, I have a fairly decent credentialed competitive background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there's people that had fucking never competed in their life telling me that I should do Jiu-Jitsu like this or this technique is the best. What the fuck? When did this happen? When did this or has that always been that way? Or is this more of the modern thing now? Everyone's opinion's valid because everyone's got access to the internet and they've all listened to 10 other world champions say what to do. Like, I don't get it.
And sometimes the opportunity to learn is right in your face, but people are just not humble enough. Like, I always found a big difference. I don't see between here and Brazil back on the day. I don't know what it is, and I've been here long, but I found that here people don't ask the other person because they don't want to show weakness. So they don't ask, man, what is this choke you're doing? Or do you mind showing me? Oh man, is that how you do it? That's a great way to learn, man.
I think it comes back to the society though, because like I think you can't afford to have that attitude in a place where you're poor. You have to, like, I don't know, what do you need me to do? I need this job, I need this whatever. What do you want me to do? I want to do it perfect for you to maintain my position.
Yeah.
Whereas here, even with jobs, like I do some cleaning stuff. Like I do cleaning shit. Do you know how many people don't want to do cleaning? Because it's an unflattering, uncool job. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I'm not doing that. They don't give a shit if they do a good job for other people. They don't care because fuck that. It's not cool. I don't want that. And the reason they can do that is because even if you don't have a job, you can get by. The government will pay you. There's no issue. Or there's another job. Someone will pay you more money to do something less, whatever. There's so much abundance because there's so much money floating around because we're a wealthy country. I think people kind of foster that attitude naturally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Whereas I think if you come from a place that's pretty much any other part of the fucking world, to be honest, that's not a Western country, really. Even in the UK, though, or in the US, I think people are more willing to take on shitty positions and just listen because they don't have a fucking choice. Whereas in other situations like Australia, where everything is so easy, so simple, and there's so many safety nets, all right, you don't have to listen to nobody. what the fuck are you?
And you don't have
me?
to show your weakness.
Because you can just move
Why
on.
would you?
Instead
You
of
can
showing
just.
your movements,
I can always look great.
You can move on. So you just completely avoid discomfort. And this is what I'm saying is like, I think the state of the country itself, the state of the society itself, it perpetuates this issue of like never always looking to feel comfortable and good all the time. Which is a really dangerous attitude to get caught in, or a downward spiral to get caught in, because once chasing comfort, you don't care what happens in your life as long as you feel okay with it.
Which is quite funny, because I always had this phrase, I created this phrase, and actually portrayed a lot, like this is my vision about Australia. Australia is a mother. So you know what I'm saying? Like you're always gonna feel comfortable. You're okay. You don't have that. Like it's better than your mother.
You're okay.
You can recreate yourself. No problem. You recreate yourself tomorrow. No problem.
Your mom's like,
no, but like,
stop being pathetic. Go there and do that.
In a romantic way of what a mother represents. Like give you.
Nah, my mum's lovely. My mum's amazing. She's not that harsh. Come on.
Yeah, I've met your mum. She's nice.
My mum's a lovely person.
Yeah.
My mum's super gentle and generous.
Yeah.
But like I'm just talking in general. Like I think. And you're right, if you have a parent or mother like that just like, oh, coochie, coo, oh, you're the best, you're amazing, or whatever, yeah, you're going to turn out into a bratty piece of shit for the most part, because there's no accountability for anything, there's no acknowledgement, there's no challenge in your life. Why the fuck would you evolve? You're still an infant mentally, you know what I mean? Wah, I didn't get what I wanted, wah. Yeah, you're going to react that way at 35 if your experience has been always looked after, like you're saying. All right, the society's mothering you now.
Which brings me to an interesting question, Mick. Do you believe that the fact that you actually travel, like you went and live in another country, does facilitate that amount of growth that you have to have more pursuit in life? What's your opinion? Be away from others, and all that.
So when I came over to Australia 2009 from England.
How old were you at the time?
29. So England was in a bit of a state. It was just after the GFC. The profession that I was doing then, I was an electrician then. There was hardly any work, and I came to Australia not knowing that over here, and I'm sure it's the same in Brazil, a tradie over here is like a real well-paid profession. People are telling their kids to be a tradie rather than a teacher or
Only place in the world that a tradie can make more money than a lawyer, still have a boat and get home at 3 p.m. Never seen this.
Whereas back home, it's and just to give you guys an understanding, I'm sure a lot of you'll know, but it's so if you're tradie back home in England, you just one above just unskilled labour, which
just a general labourer.
General labourer. You're not really seen as having a real career. It's just something you did. Oh, he didn't go to university. He's a tradie. Whereas so it's
like packing boxes or something.
It's like a guy drinking a beer at the bar. Can you do that?
I'm gonna get. So like going back to the question, the big difference, what I found I got here and realised it was what I was doing was more revered, and so I thought, right, I can give it a good go over here. And one thing which I do love about Australia is if you say you want, and this can also link to what we've been speaking about. If you say you want to do something, you want to be good at something, if you actually focus on doing that, you can. Like no one's going to tell you, oh, that's a silly idea, you can never do that, get back in your lane. You can recreate yourself. Yeah, you can. Just like that. Yeah. Just because you want to.
In Australia, you mean?
And in Australia, if you put your mind into it, you can make anything happen. Man.
You can, yeah.
Like, seriously, if you put your mind into it, like if you have a purpose, if you, man, you can make anything happen.
So that's kind of the
but the environment doesn't help for you to do that. But coming from another country,
that's the problem. That's the problem.
From a harder situation.
But that's the difference, though. See, like how once they get here and they realize how good it is, all the people that succeed are these people that are immigrants or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Even people that, like you're saying, have like really low class jobs. They're cleaners. You know, 3 or 4 guys coming from India and they become cleaners, and they all work together and they buy fucking 10 houses by the end of over 15 years. Why is nobody else doing that? Do you know why? Because they're just like, I'm just, I don't feel that good. I just want to take it easy. What do you mean take it easy? You've not done anything your entire life. Why are you going on holiday?
But Mick, do you think that, for example, the fact that you were like you don't have like all your family here and everything, it helps you to actually focus more on work, like, and focus more on develop your career, develop your like.
Yeah, I think in the early days it did when I first got here, because it was. Now I'm getting a bit older. I'm 42 now. My parents are getting older. I'm an only child, so I'm starting to think about I'm going to have to look after them guys soon.
And
they're over in England.
It's another game. Is it?
Yeah,
our nightmare in a way. You know,
it is. Yeah, like this will be the bad side of leaving your family.
Price
behind.
We have
the
to
price.
pay, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Very true.
So potentially there could be some difficult times.
Yeah,
ahead.
it's funny how we related. Like migrants have the same, very similar. And also like the fact that you traveled to the birth of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you went to Brazil and you actually didn't do as a tourist. You actually like lived there for stayed there, spend time with Brazilians. What was this experience for you? What do you think was like differences as well that you see like between the gyms and here?
So when I went over to Brazil, I stayed with Mateus. Awesome guy. We all know Mateus real well. Yeah. Eduardo's known him since he was 4 years old.
Annoying.
So he's so Mateus, 3rd degree black belt in Brazil, trains at ACHIVE, lives in Barra, Tijuca. I went and stayed with him in his apartment. So I didn't really go as a tourist. I was staying with a friend. He took me everywhere, showed me all the real nice beaches, not the big ones which you'd normally think of going to. And yeah, getting back to Eduardo's question about the difference between the gyms, what I found is it was more of jiu-jitsu was more of a lifestyle over there than somewhere you go for a workout. Like over here, it seems to be more of a workout. People come 5 minutes before the class.
There's a schedule, yeah.
Stick the gi on, line up, do the class, go through a few techniques, have a few rolls, and then get changed and go home. Over in Brazil, before class, there'd be guys sat on the mat, laughing and joking, speaking in Portuguese, which obviously I didn't understand, but go sit with them, you'd have a laugh and a joke, then everyone would put the gis on. There'd be, I think my first session there was 18 black belts on the mats. I remember because there was a photograph and I counted. It was awesome. They were all guys who were either my age or a bit older, from every profession. It's quite a well-off area, Barra, Tijuca.
That's misconception as well about jiu-jitsu. A lot of guys, or like you say, would you like to try like a father off for the kids, even though a lot of fathers now train. But I heard a lot, I'm too old for the guy's 30. I'm like, man, this guy's in Brazil 78 training, you know what I mean? Like this 30-year-old.
Yeah, Jaca, the old guy Jaca with the white hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, got on the mats, there's 18 black belts there. Everyone just wants to help you.
You know, he was a black belt and he stopped training for maybe 10 years and then he came back with a white belt and no one knew.
Yeah.
And then like one day people, just to try being like as a humble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then people were like, what? And then they gave him obviously the black belt and he man, just the guy. He's an amazing guy. He traveled the world, man, and training for a lot of guys, knows a lot of little tricks.
Yeah, I remember rolling with him.
A lot of little tricks, man. Kind of amazing, eh?
Yes. So yeah, like the biggest difference for me is it's more of a lifestyle, more community. It seems.
The culture of jiu-jitsu is different.
The culture over there, yeah. And just because I think it's so ingrained into a lot of guys over there from being a kid. And yeah, they're now in the 30s, 40s, they've been a black belt 5, 15, 20 years.
Maybe because they ingrained since young age, I just have this insight right now, that's probably, it's much easier for them to, from the beginning, to see this as a game. as a fun and related with that everything community and social as
rather
well.
Than going for a workout.
Like as a big workout or we're going to now it's time to fight. You know what I mean?
I also think that's a cultural thing, like because most Western countries are so safe and they're so like politically correct and they're so controlled in so many manners.
As well, more space.
No one does this, no one does that. Like once you now go into a real situation, which is somebody gripping your throat and putting your forearm on your neck and all this stuff, like people are stressed just coming in here. Just coming into jiu-jitsu is really stressful for people. I don't see the same stress on people's face going and doing jiu-jitsu in Brazil, in Norway, in da-da-da. The people are more okay with physical touch. They're more okay with stressful situations. They're more okay with argument and confrontation. Like, I think everything's like so politically correct and so policed and stuff in a lot of Western countries that like when you do something real, it's scary as hell, man. You actually feel like they feel anxiety coming here. And it's hard to like you're saying, I love jiu-jitsu. It's hard to love something that causes anxiety in you because you're not used to it. Do you know what I mean? They're not used to stress. They're not used to being uncomfortable. They're not used to like experiencing, threat. Like, man, a lot of people in a lot of countries, they're threatened every day. They get used to being threatened. They get used to be like, I have to be careful, watch over there and do this. So just they're used to a different level of like animosity and confrontation and stuff. Like what we're doing
that wouldn't be considered threatful even. In other countries.
So like the baseline of what people are used to in like a threatening anxiety level in most of the like people have no idea, no understanding of the violence and the atrocity that exists in the world from Western countries. They have no idea. It is so safe and so comfortable. And when something crazy does happen, it's all over the news, and that's what everyone sees. Man, this is this happens every day in other countries. Like some of the most heinous, awful shit that happens on the planet. I mean, it happens every day in other countries. Violence and atrocity and horrible shit. We're kind of like protected from that in the West, especially in Australia. Like, oh, that didn't happen, or like we avoid it, we don't talk about it. People don't want to talk about the realities of the world anymore. And look, I get that you're trying to keep everything fun and safe and all that stuff, but I think when people experience real things now, they can't deal with it, dude. Participation awards and all this stuff. Oh, it's all about feeling good, Yeah, but now when they go to jiu-jitsu and they get submitted consistently, they don't want to go back or whatever because they can't deal with setback. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Mick, for example, would you recommend to someone to go and experience that, or what was your final?
I would go back tomorrow if I could.
To Brazil.
To Brazil, yeah. So, and I was just thinking then, so another big difference what I found is, I remember Thierry messaging me, obviously we all know Thierry. So he messaged me, asked me how I was going in Brazil, whether I was enjoying it. And I can remember what I was thinking at the time. I responded to her and I said, you know what? This is going to sound strange, but it reminds me of being back home in England. Two completely different countries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what reminded me of being back home is after training or just any random time of the day, Mateus's friends from the gym would just come round.
Yeah.
Not for anything in particular, not to have a scheduled barbecue
come
at
to
this
his house,
time.
yeah.
Or go, you'd just have your mates drop round. And it was the same for me in England. I'd always have my friends come round. I'd have like my friend Andy phone me up. Oh, I'm the boxer. Oh, I'm hungry, mate. Do you want to go for something to eat? Like 11:30 at night, we'd go for something to eat.
In a change of eye contact, that gathering can become a barbecue.
Yes,
but there was no plan whatsoever.
But that's not in the Aussie culture, man.
No, I know.
They don't do that here. Yeah, you're right. Like,
so that's
it's spontaneity.
Yeah, spontaneity and stuff. But like, just in general, like, and even you've mentioned this before, because I think we've had this conversation or a similar one, just on the mat, sitting down, whatever. Like, even the way people physically move is different.
Yes.
Like the fluidity and the kind of like relaxed nature of the Brazilian style.
Hips.
The hip movement,
Capoeira,
bit of
soccer.
samba, whatever. Samba, shaking their butt, whatever. Doing some, you know, dancing on the bottle or whatever it is. What's the music called? Funk music. Bit of funk. Bit of funky. Eduardo loves a bit of funk.
I hate it, but anyway.
I know you
Not
don't
a big
like
fan,
it.
not a big fan. But I respect.
Anyway, but the point is like all of that stuff, just the relaxed nature of everything, being able to deal with the anxiety and stress of confrontation better or whatever, right? The way they physically move is different. It's way more relaxed. It's way more athletic and I would say acrobatic, especially
More
like
fluid.
you're saying, more fluid and hip exchanging and just like more aware of their body completely. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Whereas I would say like if you look at the style of wrestling or grappling that you see in Australia, it's very rigid, man. It's a very rigid, kind of like how you talked about, like you turn up, you're 5 minutes early, you put the gear on, you train hard. All right, good, thanks guys, go home. It's that's how they do jiu-jitsu. Whereas the jiu-jitsu style of Brazil is the same with the culture. Like it's very, very interesting. And Japan's even more completely different, opposite thing. Like where it's so
very organized,
methodical, technically precise, but then you do the chaotic, crazy Brazilian stuff and they get lost in it. You know what I mean? So it's like such an interesting thing. And that's what they talk about with MMA stuff too, is, you know, styles make fights and it's a different dynamic and everything, which is true. But I just find that's the culture directly reflects in the style of the jiu-jitsu a lot.
And that's, like thinking back to one of the nights in Brazil, the guys from Axe, Vinny and Mateus, they took me to... I'll really mispronounce his real name, but his nickname's Zebeleza.
Zebeleza.
Yeah, went to his gym. Yeah, went to his gym. And afterwards, I forgot is it in Gávea? I've forgotten.
He has one in Gávea and one in São Conrado. Right. São Conrado is closer to Barra, yeah?
Ah, right.
Yeah, near Rocinha.
Right. Well,
he has two. It
was a real small gym anyway, in the centre of... it was obviously one of them two areas. But afterwards, when we finished training, like typical, the difference between training in Brazil, training here. Came out of the gym, there's bars all along the road. Vini, Eduardo's coach, legend of a guy. He walks out with his gi still on, grabs a beer. He's just chatting to anyone who's walking past, still wearing his gi. Everyone's in the going out clothes, doesn't care. Everyone's like around him, having a laugh with him. Such a good atmosphere. Like I say, can't understand a word of Portuguese. I had the best time.
The energy.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah, just the
Funny, man.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think it's important for people to travel and experience different parts of it, especially if you're from a very privileged first world nation. You need to go and see how other people live, man. Even my mum used to say this to us. Like, we were never really wealthy. My mum worked super hard, looked after 3 kids. Like, you know, eventually got to a position where she was financially pretty good. And, you know, we went to Bali and things like that in Thailand because it's a cheaper, decent holiday you can go. But one of the main reasons that she wanted to do that was just to show me and my siblings, like, man, you have to understand the world's not amazing and beautiful. Like, you guys are fucking super privileged. Dude.
Give value for what you have.
That's
one of the biggest problems. You're never do not know the other side. So
correct.
They can't value.
You're never hungry. You're never. You don't.
This is paradise.
Like, I drop you off to sports things. What are you talking about? You guys have got no idea. You got no idea. Have a look here. There's a kid with no legs begging for money or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the realities of the world.
You've got the guy, the kids in Brazil at traffic lights putting the bags of lollies and sweets on the wing mirror.
Trying to sell stuff or whatever.
It's crazy.
Or doing juggling shows or whatever.
Yeah, just anything to make money. But it's if you get the chance to go to Brazil and train, go. It's amazing. They're so good. Especially if you love your jiu-jitsu, you're just gonna fit straight in. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love to go to everywhere I go, you know, unless I had it's like super rare, but normally I would take a gi and go, because the other thing you can get as well, the locals, where they eat, you know what I mean? They'll go to the best restaurants, man, like the best prices, you know, not tourist traps, and where to go, you know, and what suburbs to hang, and they normally, Like one time I went in China and I went training, and the guys, man, we're doing a barbecue, you know what I mean? Like, and that Sunday I was in their houses and understanding and eating chicken hearts in China. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
And you've always got, like, when you go traveling and meet people through jiu-jitsu, you've got that baseline of, like, you know you're kind of going to get on with them on a certain level, because you like the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
There's that certain amount of honesty with fellow jiu-jitsu people.
Yeah, you have. There's
a bond.
You build, and you guys, we've talked about the army and everything. Like the bond they build on trust is deeper than so many other endeavors, because you actually trust in your body physically with another human being, which is a pretty vulnerable thing to do with other people, and that's a very, very strong bond you have to have.
True.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, Mick, always a pleasure. When you left, I was very happy because you actually went to the beach. And that's so 9 out of 10 people's preferred one, including myself.
Sunshine Coast, eh?
Yep. Yeah.
But always happy to see you. I get along with you really well.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And man,
don't see you guys enough.
We'll do it for Bobby.
Definitely.
I'm gonna visit you at the beach at some point soon.
Yep.
I just want to ask one question before we finish.
Yep.
Like, I noticed your game evolve a fair amount since, like, being training at another gym with a bunch of other people. What was that like for you, like, just experiencing a completely different, like, teaching style and style of techniques and all that type of thing? Because I remember you coming back a couple times and training here, but I could definitely see a real, like, major metamorphosis or, like, a evolvement in the style of your jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's like that. It's good you picked up on that. 'Cause, yeah, like I've always thought it's obviously I did my first few years here.
Yeah.
Went from myself, Eduardo, Fred, and going up and moving to Legacy. At first, it's obviously you've got a couple of months where it's like, oh, this is different, that's different. But like Lucas Santana up at Legacy, our head coach, with him being a smaller guy, he moves a lot.
Yeah.
Like his game is based around movement and not so much pressure, just placement of limbs and framing, and so a completely different style.
Yeah.
And it's been good because it's kind of, a lot of people say I don't move much, which I don't.
So you add that
I added his
into your portion already existent.
But I think like the thing you're kind of almost saying as well is like you almost like added like, lucky for you it just happened, right?
Yep.
But the style of jiu-jitsu complements your game the most because it's probably your biggest weakness from before.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty much hits the nail on the head. Like Lucas's game is probably my weakness. A lot of So like when I'm speaking to people about, and they're saying, oh, I can't get this one, I can't do that, I'd give them advice on like how to try and beat me. It's, don't stop moving. Go around me, don't go through me. Just bombard me so I get tired. Don't stay still, don't let me grab a lapel, just keep moving, keep your distance. And that's pretty much Lucas's game. It has been good having the two different styles.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and I tell you what, like this is one of the I think the best guys in jiu-jitsu knows how to the timing to do, but they're good at this both. You know what I mean? These are the amazing guys. You know, in my opinion, like the guys that can actually be heavy and heavy pressure. And also be super flowy and have like Marcelo Garcia used to be like that. When he was on top, he used to put pressure. Many people don't know that, but he used to be like that. You know what I mean? A lot of guys, you know, that guy that trains now, that's very famous, that trains at the AOJ.
Tynan?
Yes, man, he's the portrait of this guy. Pressure with movimentation, intelligent, efficient, one of the best of the games in that kind of combination. That's I always press that button. Good. Yeah, I actually watched you competing one competition. I think it was Queensland State or something like that, and I also noticed that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing to kind of comment on.
Yeah, it's funny.
Changes a lot. You evolved a lot, but I think it also comes down just to your attitude, because if you had a different approach mentally, or you didn't have the same discipline you have, or you weren't so in love with jiu-jitsu and so dedicated, maybe you wouldn't improve like that either, you know what I mean? So it's a testament to your FIFO jiu-jitsu course, so make sure everyone gets...
FIFOs, guys.
Man, guys.
FIFOs, what are you guys doing? What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? Sign up now, today. Become a black belt.
Well, sign up after we've made the link and the name and the course and everything.
and all the stuff goes to my bank account. Yeah, all the proceeds. No, like, yeah, thanks so much, Gothard. Really appreciate you coming on. And I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this this kind of talk, man. Like, man, you got to love the shit you're doing. Let's start with that. You know what I mean?
And it almost feels like I'm like cheating, because it's like, people say, how do you stay motivated? I said, I don't have to.
I actually enjoy it.
I enjoy it. Yeah,
man.
That's
figure out how to enjoy stuff, guys. Figure out how to find something to enjoy. There you go.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir. Sign up now.